Right.
Two more books are there. Okay. Try to complete it and pass to others.
Excuse me. Later. Okay, welcome to NEET World. We will continue yesterday's class. We stopped at Annelida. We will continue that and we will complete by hemi-chord data. We will complete all the non-chord data part, right? So, before going to class, let me ask you a few questions to know are you studied or not, right? So, the first question is in which phylum you will see the flame cells? Okay. Right. Flame cells are in platyhelminthes, right? Pseudocoelom in which phylum? Aschelminthes, right? Right. Next one, this metameric segmentation, the first metameric segmentation is in which phylum? Annelida. Okay. Then what about this pseudo segmentation? Pseudo segmentation. Right. Metameric segmentation is Annelida, pseudo segmentation in platyhelminthes, normal segmentation in arthropods. And next one, in which phylum you will see the bioluminescence character? What is the example? Yes, right, pleurobrachia. Ctenophora. The phylum is Ctenophora, the example is pleurobrachia. Right. Very good. Okay. Any doubts? No, right? Just I will revise what are the important we have to remember for the examination point of view. See, in this level of organization you have to remember what level and the example of that level. Cellular level is porifera, tissue coelentrates, organ is platyhelminthes, organ system is Annelida to chordata. This is also important in which system, in which phylum closed type of circulation is there, Annelida, cephalochordata and vertebrates. Symmetry, this is very important. Asymmetry in poriferans, in which phylums you will get radial symmetry. Coelentrata, Ctenophora, very important, right? So, coming to bilateral symmetry, and the most important thing is, right? This is also simple diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Yeah, coming to this is acoelomates, platyhelminthes, acoelomates. Coming to pseudocoelomates, nematihelminthes. Coming to eucoelomates, after that all are eucoelomates, right? Body segmentation, metameric segmentation, pseudo segmentation and segmentation. Annelida, arthropoda and platyhelminthes. Chordata, which is very simple. Morning someone asked porifera to hemichordata, all are in non-chordates, right? So, this is all about basics of classification. Coming to porifera, the main important system is canal system, choanocytes you have to remember, and larval forms. Very important thing is examples. They will ask scientific names and common names. Cycon is Scypha, Spongilla, freshwater sponge. Every example you have to remember. What? Yeah. There are only two larval forms in phylum porifera, right? Not only, actually there are three larval forms. I gave example 2. These are enough for your NCRT. In coelentrata, this thing, cnidocytes, nematocytes, also examples. Whenever you see the larval form, you have to remember planula larva. And here you see the polyp, cnidarians exhibits polyp form also, medusa forms. You have to remember what cnidarians, what are the examples for the polyp forms and what are the examples for medusa forms, and also you have to remember what are the examples for both alternation of generations. See this thing polyp, hydra and admesia is the example for the polyp forms only, whereas this medusa is Aurelia and jellyfishes. Whereas coming to metagenesis, alternation of generation, so Obelia. This is an example for the polymorphism. Metagenesis example is Obelia. You have to remember this. Next one, Ctenophora. As you know, ciliated comb plates, coloblast, bioluminescence, sidipede larva. And the example is Pleurobranchia. This is only one example, right? And Platyhelminthes. This is the first triploblastic acoelomate. Hookers and suckers are present. Organ level is okay, right? Larval forms, examples also. An important thing is flame cells and ladder-like nervous system. Ascalominthes, pseudocoelomate, first organ system level of organization, unsegmented. And the cross section, because of the cross section, it's called as roundworms. Sexual dimorphism is important. Rennet glands, examples, larval forms. It seems like everything is important, but you have to remember. Annelida, yeah, these are the first true coelomates. And these structures are very important. Metamerism, right? Excretion is done by nephridia, double ventral nerve cord is done. Sexual reproduction, examples. The larval form is strokophore larva. So these are the points you have to remember up to Annelida. So now we will start from Arthropoda. Right. So this Arthropoda is the largest phylum. Many number of species are going to present in this Arthropoda. So you see there are 2/3 of species that are going to present in this phylum, and in this phylum the largest class is insects. Insecta. Insecta is the largest class which have many number of species, right? So these Arthropoda, if you see, these are living in many atmospheres like terrestrial atmosphere, marine atmosphere, all kind of living atmospheres you can see in this Arthropoda phylum. So these are the general things. The Arthropoda shows the characters: bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, coelomate, organ system level of organization. These are the basics of normal each and every phylum. So Arthropoda showing bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, coelomate and organ system level of organization. So the important point is why this Arthropoda is why this phylum is called as Arthropoda means artho means jointed, poda means feet. If you see the appendages, see this is not a straight tube, right? This is not a straight tube. It was connected, jointed in an organized way. So that's why it's a interlinked thing. So that's why this phylum, these animals are called as jointed appendages. Understand why these animals are called as jointed appendages? So the appendages, the legs, whatever it may be, so they are connected in a joint manner. So that's why these animals are called as jointed appendages. So that was the thing you have to remember, why they are called as jointed appendages. And also the most important thing is these animals have the exoskeleton is chitinous. With the help of chitin, it is made up of, with the help of chitin, the exoskeleton is made up of chitin. So you have to remember this. So because of this only, these arthropods are surviving more number of years. So from evolution to here also, these arthropods are survived more time. Why? Because the exoskeleton is made up of chitinous. It is very strong. You see the cockroach, the top that is made up of chitin. So that's why they are living more number of time. And also the body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. For example, you see this is head, thorax, this is abdomen. Simply the body is divided into 3 segments: head, thorax and abdomen. And this is segmented. Jointed appendages is very important. Coming to respiration, there are a number of structures that are present in this Arthropoda family. You have to remember what are the structures, example for the structures of the families. The first structure is gills. Gills is present in crabs and prawns. Book gills, limulus. This is also called as what? Limulus is also called as living falling. Living fossil. Remember, book lungs, spider and scorpion, trachea, insects. So these are the 4 different types of structures that are present in this arthropoda family, and the structures that are present in these different organisms. Gills are crabs and prawns, book gills in limulus, book lungs in spider and scorpion, trachea in insects. You have to remember that thing, right? The circulatory system is open type. This is very important. Excretion is done by Malpighian tubules in where? Insects. Green glands in crustaceans. Coxal glands in arachnids. So they will ask insects perform what type of insects, what type of structures are going to present in insects. Excrete, see this thing, Malpighian tubules. What are the structures that are present in crustaceans? Green glands. What are the structures for excretion that are going to present in arachnids? Coxal glands. Remember, Malpighian tubule in insects, green glands in crustaceans, coxal glands in arachnids, right? Next one, sensory organs are also present in this arthropoda. What are the sensory organs? Antennae, statocyst, and simple and compound eyes. So antenna is responsible for taste, touch, right? So that is called antenna structures. This is present on head. Whereas this statocyst is responsible for balancing. It's a balancing organ. Sir, for what it is balancing? Whenever it is in water condition, whenever it is in swimming, so the organism has to balance according to that water currents. So for that, this statocyst is responsible for balancing organ. So this statocyst is also called as balancing organ, right? As you know, this is simple and compound eyes. And coming to the reproduction, right? Reproduction is dioecious, usual internal fertilization, oviparous. Do you know about oviparous, right? The animals which are laying egg laying, right? And dioecious and usually internal fertilization. Development is direct or indirect. So if it is direct, it's okay. Indirect, it has so many larval stages. So nymph, butterfly means it is a nymph larva. There are many number of larval stages in arthropoda family, right? So these are the examples. You have to remember all these examples. Locusta, it's a gregarious pest. Lac insect, Lassifer, Apis honeybee. See, you see Anopheles, Clueus, Aedes mosquito. These are vector related things. From these things, all the pathogens are going to enter into our body. So you have to remember, right? This Locusta, it's a pest. And this Lassifer, lac insect, and Apis honeybee, all are economically important species, right? So those are the examples for phylum Arthropoda. So in phylum Arthropoda, you have to remember, so this phylum is having organ system level of organization, coelomates, triploblastic bilateral. This is common features. You have to remember this is jointed appendages, and also it's having chitinous exoskeleton, and also you see the point moulting. Do you know what is moulting? Removing the exoskeleton. Removal of exoskeleton or called as shedding. Shedding of exoskeleton is also called as moulting. It removes its outer exoskeleton. That process is called moulting. This moulting is only this moulting is the characteristic feature of this Arthropoda family, right? And also examples you have to remember, the respiratory structures, and this is not required, but statocyst, antennae. A many important thing is statocyst. Statocyst is the most important thing you have to remember for the Arthropoda family, right? So examples also you have to remember. So this is all about Arthropoda, right? Understand? So next one. So those are the classifications of Arthropoda. Arthropoda, you have classification, many 3 different types of classification that you will study in further classes. In future you will study. Coming to mollusca, this is the second largest phylum. These mollusks are called as soft body. Why these mollusca are called as soft body means there is no internal skeleton. There is no internal skeleton. That's why these molluscans are called as soft body animals. Generally, if you see the molluscans, these molluscans is generally divided into head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. So these are soft tissues. That's why this whole body is like soft. So that's why these animals are called as soft bodies or called as molluscans. Remember, these molluscans are called as soft bodies. So these are the general terminologies you have to remember. Molluscans having bilateral symmetry and triploblastic animals, coelomate, organ system level of organization. So what you have to remember especially in molluscans is, you see, as I said, this molluscans is having head and some kind of visceral hump. In this head portion, tentacles are there. This is head, and here the gastrovascular cavity is there, and this is called as visceral hump. And this is head portion, and this part is called as muscular foot. On this visceral hump, there is a layer which is called as mantle. Understand? On this visceral hump, there is a layer which is called as mantle. This is very strong, and it is made up of calcium carbonate. Right? So in between visceral hump and mantle, there is a cavity. You see, this is a cavity. This is called as mantle cavity. In this mantle cavity, what is going to present means there is something feather-like gills. So in some books they will mention comb-like gills. Right? They are something comb-like gills are present in this mantle cavity. For what these gills are responsible? Generally, these gills are responsible for respiration. Also, these feather-like gills also responsible for excretion also. Understand? So in molluscans, there is a mantle is there, visceral hump is there, muscular foot and head. In between visceral hump and mantle, there is a mantle cavity. In this mantle cavity, there are feather-like gills or comb-like gills which are called as ctenidia. Here I mentioned ctenidia. These are like feather-like gills or comb-like gills. These are responsible for the respiration and excretion also. As I mentioned, this exoskeleton which is called as mantle, it is made up of calcareous cell. This is unsegmented. There is no segments in this molluscans animals. Generally, the body is divided into head, muscular foot and visceral hump. So that's why it is very soft. Internally there is no endoskeleton. It is very soft body. So that's why these are called as soft body animals, molluscans. Right? In this anterior portion, sensory tentacles are present, responsible for the touch and taste, whatever it may be. Next, this is the one of the key important point. Mouth contains a file-like rasping organ called radula. Mouth contains file-like rasping organ called radula. This is also important characteristic feature of molluscans. Understand? You have to remember radula, ctenidia, calcareous cell, head, muscular foot, visceral hump. Because of this only they are called as soft bodies. These are all common. All these things are common. Mantle cavity. So next one is the development is indirect. So indirect means definitely there should be larva. The larval name is Velizer larva. Also there are many larvas are present. Trochophore larva, Glochidium larva. In your NCERT they mentioned only Velizer larva. In your NCERT they mentioned only velizer larva, but in higher studies you will see trochophore larva and glochidium larva also. For example, the options are like this A, B, C, something D, planula, something kind of larva means you have to go for velizer larva, right? According to NCERT. These are the examples, you have to remember all the examples, scientific names and common names. Mandatory, you have to remember. So this is all about, you can say this is reproduction is dioecious, oviparous animals, indirect development. Understand? So these are the features, characteristic features you have to remember in this class. Sorry, phylum mollusca. What are the things you have to remember? Larval stage, examples, some key terminologies, Ctenidia, radula. This radula, I think most of, for example, if you see 20 times question appears means 20 times they ask radula only. That much important it is, radula. Radula means it is mollusca, right? Rasping organ for feeding. This point is also very important. Sometimes they mention there is a rasping organ called radula, it is for locomotion. Is it right? No, it is for feeding only. They will mention that point also. You have to remember the for feeding only. There are sensory tentacles, Ctenidia also is there, calcareous shell. What is Ctenidia? These are feather-like gills or comb-like gills. Done. Coming to next phylum, Echinodermata. Next phylum, Echinodermata. So this Echinodermata is also called as spiny animals. Spiny skin animals, because on the surface of the animals there are like structures, spine like structures, so that's why these are called as spiny skin animals. So the best example for this Echinodermata is starfish. Starfish is the best example. If you remember starfish, you will understand all the characteristics. See, in starfish you can see radial symmetry, right? And also Echinodermata is the main important for one type of system which is called as water vascular system, which is also called as ambulacral system. Porifera is responsible for what type of system? Canal system. See, phylum Porifera is the starting animal, it is having canal system. Echinodermata is the last phylum, it is having water vascular system. Sometimes they give opposite directions. Porifera having water vascular system, Echinodermata is having canal system. You have to remember Porifera having only canal system, Echinodermata having water vascular system, which is also called as ambulacral system. That's also important, which is also called as ambulacral system. So for what purpose this system is responsible for means locomotion, feeding, respiration. Remember, this water vascular system is responsible for locomotion, feeding and respiration. And these are this thing, symmetry is also very important. As you know, Echinodermata showing radial symmetry in what? Adult. Larva in bilateral symmetry. These are very important. Triploblastic, you know, coelomate, organ system level. These are the common features. Common features only. The main important thing is symmetry. And habitat is exclusively marine. These are all marine only. All are marine. All are marine individuals. Echinodermata. Right? Is there anything? Circulation is open type. There is no heart and vessels. Digestive system is complete. Complete means what? Two mouths. Two openings. One for mouth, one for anus. Mouth is present on ventral side, anus is present on dorsal side. Ventral means back. For example, this is an animal, this is the ventral side, this is the dorsal side. So one opening, this is mouth. Mouth is present on ventral side, anus is present on dorsal side. Remember? Right? Next one. We will see the excretory system is not present, nervous system is poorly developed, dioecious, sexual development, external fertilization, because these are present in marine, right? So that's why they perform external fertilization, right? Both the gametes are released into water, their fertilization happens. So that's why they perform only external fertilization. And it is indirect development. So that's why they are having larvas. The larval names are bipinnaria and auricularia. There are many larvas are present in Echinodermata. In NCERT they give bipinnaria and auricularia. Generally these larvals are called as free living larvas. Free living ciliated. Free living ciliated larvas. All these larvas, bipinnaria, auricularia and doliolum, there are different kinds of larval forms are present in Echinodermata. All larval forms of Echinodermata collectively called free living ciliated larvas. You have to remember this point. And the very special characteristic feature is autotomy, which is called as self cutting. For example, if you cut the small portion of an starfish, it will regenerate automatically, right? One point I remember, highest regeneration capacity in planaria, right? So the thing is, every individual, every phylum has regeneration capacity, like this thing. Echinodermata is also having regeneration capacity, Platyhelminth is also having regeneration capacity, Porifera also having regeneration capacity, but the highest regeneration capacity is in planaria. Likewise, this self-cutting feature is highly involved in Echinodermata animals. Remember. And finally, examples. తప్పించుకోవడానికి. Have to escape from the predators. That's why it's involved in self-cutting autotomy, regeneration. So these are the examples for Echinodermata. You have to remember all the examples, right? The final one is hemichordata. Morning someone asked hemichordata is chordata or notochordata. So previously they mentioned it is in chordata, but after that they mentioned in non-chordata. Why? Because there is a structure which is called as collar. It resembles like notochord. There is a collar which is resembles like notochord, but it is not notochord. It is called stomochord. It is called as stomochord. It resembles like notochord. There starting they thought it is notochord. That's why they kept in chordates. But after that they realized it is not notochord. It's like a resemble character. It's a characteristic feature of primitive character feature of chordata. So that's why they gave another name which is called as stomochord, and they gave a separate phylum which is called as hemichordata, which is included in non-chordates. Understand? So you see, this is earlier subphylum chordata, now placed in separate phylum called hemichordata. Right? Hemi means of, chordata means this notochord, offspring animals. Right? You can see these are like worm-like animals. Tubichlorus. Tubichlorus means they live in tubes. Tube-like areas. They live in tube-like areas, or they create some tubes and they live in that tube. So that's why these are called as worm-like worms and also tube-like animals. And also these are called as acron worms. Acron is nothing but, you see this part is look like acron. Acron is kind of seed which look like this. Generally these squirrels, some animals, they will eat that food. So this called acron. So it's look like acron, so that's why these animals are called as acron worms, right? So it's showing bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, eucoelomate, organ system level of organization. Those are common features. So what you have to remember, stomochord. Stomochord is present in which phylum? Hemichordata. Because there is no notochord, but stomochord, notochord like appearance is there, which is called as stomochord. It is only present in hemichordata animals. And this thing, you see, this is called as, starting anterior portion is called as proboscis. For what this thing is present? This is present for excretion. You have to remember this proboscis is responsible for excretion. Right, you see, proboscis gland which is responsible for excretion. and this hemichordata is having gill slits. This is the only character which is directly linked to chordates. This is the only primitive character which is seen in chordates. Gill slits are present in pharynx. Whereas this proboscis excretion, nervous system is very primitive, circulatory system is open, dioecious, external fertilization, indirect. Indirect means Tornaria larva. So the examples are Balanoglossus, Sacoglossus. So these are the only two examples which are given in hemichordata. One is Balanoglossus and Sacoglossus. Understand? So in hemichordata, what you have to remember? Gill slits and proboscis gland, stomachord, right? In Echinodermata, autotomy and larval form Bienpenaria, Arcularia are simply called as free living ciliated larvas. Examples also, in every phylum you have to remember examples. Without examples you won't write exam. And water vascular system, what is for water vascular system? Locomotion, feeding and respiration. Symmetry also. Adults are radial symmetry, larvals are bilateral symmetry in Echinodermata. Coming to molluscans, larva, Velizer larva, and also Ctenidia gills, radula, sensory tentacles, unsegmented, head, muscular foot, visceral hump. So these are the points you have to remember for Echinodermata, mollusca and hemichordata. So up to this the non-chordata part is over. So starting from Porifera, we studied Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Nematohelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and hemichordata. So all these things are included in non-chordates. So now I want to explain. So what are non-chordates and what are chordates? What is vertebrates? What are invertebrates? It's a very just 5 minutes topic. So coming to Porifera, once again Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Nematohelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, hemichordata. All are non-chordates because they don't have any chordata. Coming after that, Urochordata, Cephalochordata, Cyclostoma, Osteichthyes, Amphibia, reptiles, aves, mammals. These are chordates. These are fishes, right? These are chordates. In these chordates, this block you see fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, aves are vertebrates. Understand? These fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, aves are included in vertebrates. Why? Here notochord is replaced to vertebral column. So that's why these fishes, amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals are vertebrates. Coming to here, this Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Cyclostoma, these are non-vertebrates. So from Porifera to Cyclostomata, all are called non-vertebrates. Understand? All are non-vertebrates. But exclusively from hemichordata, these are non-chordates. But here these are chordates. See, from Urochordata to mammals, all are chordates. But fishes to mammals, they are not chordates, they are called vertebrates. So all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Remember, you write this sentence, all vertebrates are chordates, but not all chordates are vertebrates. Understand why this sentence statement is true? In Urochordata, Cephalochordata, Cyclostomata, chordata is only there. There is no vertebral column, and remaining chordata is replaced by vertebral column. So that's why all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. So this we completed non-chordates. We have few questions. Yesterday we completed only few questions. We will see the questions and we'll go. I think this question was completed, I think, right? Right, 154. Just read and do 154 question. We'll see. Plurobranchia is what? Ctenophora. This is the only example which is present in Ctenophora. Right. Next, radula. Next, stomachord. Right. It is like notochord but not notochord. It is in hemichordata. Air bladder. So this is in next next topic, which is in chordata. So with this you can answer A, A2, B1, C4, D3. So answer is option 3. Understand how they are asking questions, simple questions. They just give the characteristic feature of that phylum. They will ask that phylum names. Next one. Any doubt? There is no doubt, right? This is already we did. See, so that's why I explained. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Chordate is replaced by vertebral column in adult vertebrates. What is the answer? Both A and R correct? R is the correct explanation of A, right? All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates, right? This is NEET 2019 question. Yeah, an important characteristic that hemichordata share with chordate is, yeah, this is the only character which share with chordates. Pharyngeal, pharynx with gill slits, not without gill slits, pharynx with gill slits. This is already we did, right? Actually yesterday we did it wrong. So which of the following feature is not present in phylum Arthropoda means parapodia. Parapodia is only seen in Annelida. But what about this metameric segmentation? This metameric segmentation is first seen in Annelida, also in Arthropoda. Means from Annelida only Arthropoda animals came. So Arthropoda having also segmentation. So that's how this question metameric segmentation is related to Arthropoda also. But this thing parapodia is not present in Arthropoda. Parapodia is present only in Annelida. So here the answer is option 3. Jointed appendages, you know, chitinous exoskeleton also you know, right? This thing we did yesterday? No, right? Do. Select the correct statements. Yesterday some people came and asked the option is very wrong. So they didn't see select the correct statements. They gave the select the incorrect statements. So you have to see the question clearly. They are asking select the correct statements, right? See, platyhelminthes are triploblastic and pseudocoelomates. No? So you can eliminate here only. And ctenophore reproduce only sexual and fertilization is external. Okay. Next, in tapeworms fertilization is internal but sexes are not separate. Sexes are not separate. In Aschelminthes you will see sexual dimorphism. In Platyhelminthes you will not see any sexual dimorphism. It is hermaphrodite only. So it is right. Next, ctenophores are exclusively marine and diploblastic, showing bioluminescent organism. So D option is also right. Coming to E, in sponges fertilization is external and development is direct. Development is direct. So the larval forms are right. So you can eliminate option E and also option A. So there are B, D and C is also right. So the answer is B, C, D. So this is lengthy question, but it is statement related question, simple question also. So the next one, this thing is completed. Plan area is also done. Yeah, final question. Final question. Bipinnaria is the larval form. Online student, Bipinnaria is the larval form of Echinodermata. Next option is D. I will say metagenesis observed in Helminthes. No, where metagenesis observed? Next, echinoderms are triploblastic and coelomate animals. Roundworms have organ system level of organization. Comb plates are present in ctenophores, helps in right. For digestion, what are the thing? No, what are the structures responsible for the digestion in ctenophores? And water vascular system is a characteristic feature of Echinodermata. So option E, okay. We can eliminate option A, right? Next, what we can eliminate? Option D. This is also eliminated. So answer is option B, C, E. So this how we can eliminate options, and we have to do a perfect guessing, right? So this is all about non-coordinates and all the PYQs of non-coordinate, both EAPCET and NEET. So if you have any doubt, please ask. Or online students, if you have any doubt, please mention in chat box. I will reply as soon as possible, right? Thank you so much. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask. We have